Hello everyone, I am Billy Dees, and this is Memorial Day, 2014. Hard to believe. Well, as you can tell, I'm at a cemetery, and behind me are all the flags of the people who have served this country and who are now no longer with us. My father was a veteran, and one of his dying wishes, with all that you have to be concerned about when you're dying, was that he got a flag on his grave during Memorial Day. Now I can tell you, knowing what I know now, that my dad was largely, although a good father and a good provider and all that, was largely a very troubled man. Bouts of depression, extremely violent temper. And knowing what I know now, he probably had what we would call today post-traumatic stress disorder. A lot of this related to his childhood. His mother was taken from him, save a horrible story, keep it very short. Through neglect, his father was responsible for his mother's death. He ended up growing up in orphanages, and his brother was the only real family that he had. And unfortunately, his brother was killed in combat. He was killed on Okinawa. Shot by a sniper after the battle was already decided, which put my dad over the edge. What I really feel bad about is that I never had a chance to have some serious discussions with him, or at least as many as I would like. But he was a very intelligent man. And one of the things that in the post-Vietnam era, when I was growing up, he talked a lot about when, why, and how military use should be implemented by our nation. And unfortunately, I don't know that we really have learned a whole lot in the last 50 years. One of the things that Dad talked about was that if you're going to use military force for something other than the direct defense of the country, make sure you kind of follow three little rules. One of which is be sure you identify the enemy. These are the bad guys. And as brutal as this may sound, you make a kill list. These are the people that can no longer exist if this situation is going to get made better. The second step is to go in with a very overwhelming and swift force. Get it done. And this means going after the bad guys, even if they go into neighboring countries and hide. You don't let them hang out there, refortify their positions and their supplies, and come back in. You follow them wherever you need to follow them, and you make sure they no longer exist. And the third step is to leave. Get out. Don't hang out there. Don't get involved with the local politics. It's not going to happen. And in fact, Winston Churchill once famously said, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but he basically said that democracy is the absolute worst form of government, except all the rest. And he was right. And we lately have made the mistake of presuming that our form of government, which is the least of all the evils, is the best for everyone. And it's not. We go into these areas, we get involved with these cultures who do not understand the democratic process, do not understand elections, have no respect for a president because their leaders, ideologically, are tied into a bigger way of going through life. Often religion is tied into their respect for their leaders and so on. So they just don't get it. And we shouldn't impose our ways on other people. And we shouldn't ask these people to put their lives at risk to do so. not sure I can exactly say how much I appreciate the service that all people in our armed forces have done, especially the ones that have gone through combat roles. You know, it's kind of antiseptic when you look at the beautiful day here today, the beautiful flags, the flowers. It gives a kind of a sweet feel to Memorial Day. And it should be. There's nothing wrong with it being a family weekend. But war is ugly. It's very ugly. Brains, guts, fragments of bones laying all over the place. It's horrible. I find the World War II generation as a whole, not just the people that served in the armed services, but that generation. You know, people today my age, and certainly younger, unfortunately, have no awareness at all of the World War II era. They can't even really talk about who was on what side. They know Hitler, they know that name, and that's pretty much it. Well, we're very lucky. During World War II, the right people were in the right place at the right time and made the right decisions. And make no mistake, there's not too many historians out there that would disagree with me on this. If Hitler would have been just a little bit more sane, with the power that he had at his greatest, and the military advisors he had at his disposal, and the technology that he had at his disposal, had he actually listened to the people that were advising him, it might very well be that our world map would be drawn differently today. Now, we hear so much about socialism and this and that and the other thing. Americans have no idea at all what it's like to really lose your liberty. None. We've never come home and our family's gone because we said something bad about the mayor. These types of experiences just haven't happened in the United States. We have become spoiled in a large degree. We're consumed with our right to spit on the sidewalk. And we've really never given a whole lot of contemplation to what it took to preserve those rights. Well, here again, sort of a morbid observation on my part. Underneath all this beautiful green grass and the pretty flags and the pretty flowers, there are the dried bones and remains of people who did what they had to do to make sure that I could be here talking to you today. Free speech and all that other kind of wonderful stuff. And my father's one of them. He's one of them. He's right over there. And we're going to pay him a visit. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for listening to the video and have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thank you.